Hi, I'm Kai. I'm from Astana. I'm Alikan. I live in Astana. My name is Jibek. I'm a taxi driver from Astana. My name is Kanat Beisekeyev. I'm from Astana. I'm Roberto. I live in Astana. I'm Nina. I'm a citizen of Astana. I was born in Almaty. I grew up in Semey, and since 2011 I've been living in Astana. It's been more than 6 years now. I have been living in Astana for 7 years. But I was born in Kurgajino. It's 130 kilometers away from Astana. I've been living here for 8 years. I came to Astana when I was 17 years old and I stayed. It's a very dynamic city that keeps developing and growing. The city is getting bigger and bigger. I like it here. I find it interesting because I find it new every time. The city areas previously considered as suburbs are now the center of the city. I think that's because of the Expo. That side has been the biggest development. Judging by economy, by business development in Astana, there is a huge difference between what it was like before, say 5 years ago, and what's happening here now. It has changed for the better. Astana is changing day by day. The population is growing, the houses are being built, it's prospering. I have been asked a lot about what it's like living in Astana. The city air is clean. I like that it's easy to breathe here and we have plenty of space. That's exactly what the big-hearted Kazakh nation needs. The weather conditions here are diverse. I don't like neither living in cold all the time, nor I like constant heat. All I need is the balance between cold and hot. Astana gives me this balance. I like that the city is maintained well and it's clean. I like the vibe of the city, the energy of it. It doesn't let you stop. You can't stop because there are people in front of and behind you. This is the center of the country, the capital. This is where the hype is. It goes through you and you feel it. For example, during the Expo season, I feel its energy, its impact on me. The architecture, the overlap of old and new. I have a lot of foreign architect friends and they're surprised by the buildings they see here. I like that people here are very hospitable. Astana citizens come from all over Kazakhstan. They are the most ambitious, the most motivated people who want to show their worth. There are many guys who come from the northern part of Kazakhstan. It's like all this creative potential they collectively have has unleashed in this city. I think it will result into something really cool. Astana is the heart of our country, of our people. Good people live here. There are a lot of opportunities for the younger generation, for our children and grandchildren. How could I not love Astana? I live here. How could anyone not love the city they live in? It's my hometown. I was born here. I live here. My family and friends live here. I love Astana. I love it. I love Astana. I didn't like it that much before. Now that I'm becoming older, my views on the future are changing. I came to understand that I need to live here, to grow and develop here. It started when we all gathered on a roof and we didn't know each other that well. The city Instagrammers got in touch, decided to meet and come together. That's the story in a nutshell. We took some photos on the roof, got acquainted, had fun, and then decided to create a group on WhatsApp. We suggested a get-together of interesting people. We met up and it all started from there. It started with our common interest in mobilography. The main idea is to meet up, find nice locations and take photos. We created the Idea Hub. We take pictures, videos using our phones. We want to develop mobilography since mobile phone is the #1 gadget and everyone owns one. Everyone has a built-in camera and it should be utilized. Honestly, it's not difficult at all. Every guy, every office employee sits in his office and likes to take photos. He goes out for lunch or goes out on the weekends and takes pictures on his own. Then he finds others who love doing the same and they decide to come together. That's how the Idea Hub was created. We went to a location to take photos, no matter whether it was late night or early morning. We were always in a good mood. We could just chat for a couple of hours and then start shooting. Idea Hub is a group of friends. The Idea Hub has a different meaning for each one of us. Some consider it a pastime. Some see it as a means to creative fulfillment. For the others, it's just a hobby, something they do on the weekends. I think there are 13 of us now. The majority of the team is based in Astana. We are all different. We all have different jobs, but photography, mobilography and creativity unites us all. The Idea Hub comprises of different people, the government employees, photographers and the people of other professions. Thanks to the Idea Hub, I quit my office job and decided to fully devote myself to video and photography. I've opened my own business and I earn sufficiently, more than I used to earn as an office employee. I continue developing myself and I like it. Yes, exhibitions are held once a year, if I'm not mistaken. It's open for photographers and anyone who loves photography. I think we are setting a good example for young people, that you can do whatever you enjoy and be happy doing it. We show people that we have some cool places here and that we love the city. How I became a cook. When I was 9, my parents sent me to Italy to live with a host family. My host dad was a chef. He was the owner of a Michelin-starred restaurant. My host mom was a housewife and she grew vegetables. The whole family was cuisine and gastronomy oriented. My host dad often took me to his workplace and I guess that there I realized that kitchen is my thing. I enjoyed creating, experimenting with food, mixing ingredients and creating a new taste. Combining and separating products. I liked all of it, and I'm not so sure whether I've tasted all the products that exist in the world yet, but yes, I strive to it. I try to develop. Each country, each city demonstrates its own culture. Interestingly, the Turkish love their own Turkish cuisine, Americans love their American food, their steaks and burgers. The English have their own cuisine, like their English breakfast, for instance. What about us? We eat Turkish kebabs, we have an English breakfast in the mornings, and in the evenings we go out to have an American steak. I want to strive to something new, to make an innovation in local cuisine. I've opened my own restaurant, perhaps the first restaurant that works 6 days a week, and we are open from 6 p.m. till 11 p.m. On Mondays we are closed to the public, but the kitchen remains open because we get the ingredients ready, clean the kitchen up, hold meetings and staff trainings on that day. To be honest, customer service in the catering industry is not so good, and it makes you want to make a change, to change its direction, to develop it, bring it to another level. First of all, I would like to change the perception of a guest towards a waiter and to change how a waiter sees a guest. It's an important thing for me. I turned 57 in March. I started driving a taxi when I was 42. I like my job. I used to be a bus driver. When the bus depot got closed down, I was out of job for a while. Then I got a car and decided to become a taxi driver instead. That's how it started. I was a taxi driver in Almaty for many years, and since I moved to Astana, I have been doing the same. And before that, we used to live in Arkalek. Our son got married in Astana, got a job here. Then me and my wife decided to move here to stay closer to our son's family. It's been 6 or 7 years since we moved. I have a son and 2 grandchildren. Abelai, he is the eldest, and he is 6 years old. Abay, my youngest grandson, is 4. They are good kids. They go to kindergarten. They live here in the city. Living in Astana has its difficulties. It gets really cold in winter. The weather conditions are tough. I like talking to my passengers. It helps to pass the time. It cheers me up. It cheers everyone up. However, some people like talking, others don't. It depends on the person, I guess. Some like it, some don't. You need to try to please everyone. People are different, so it depends. Some like passing the time, some stay silent if they don't feel like talking. When that happens, I leave them be. I keep my mouth shut. Okay, darling, I'll drop you off here. Happy holidays. All kinds of things happen. Some people drop their phones at the back of my car. I don't always notice that, unless I have taken another passenger on board. And they start calling their phones. In my experience, I have returned around 8 to 10 phones to their owners. They usually find me themselves or ask me to drop by. They get so happy to have their phones back. They offer rewards, 500, 1,000, 2,000 tenge. They express their gratitude. When you get to return people their belongings, it just feels great. Why do I have to be ashamed of that? It's what I do. It's a profession, right? It's a good profession. Being a taxi driver isn't easy. It has its risks. You have to stay alert all the time, be aware of your surroundings. You know there are people who cross the road in places they shouldn't, so you have to be very careful. That's why driving in the big cities isn't that easy. Well, it depends on your attitude. If you work hard enough, you can make for a living. There are a lot of people in Astana. Also, we have many visitors in summertime. There are plenty of people who use taxi, therefore there's more work for us to do. I worked in Almaty as a taxi driver, and I remember that the passengers named the intersection of two streets where they wanted to be dropped off. In Astana, you have to drop the passengers off at their doorsteps. That's what I do. I'm a taxi driver. For the first time I heard about Astana and Kazakhstan when I was living and working in Moscow. I had a Kazakh colleague who told me about Kazakhstan. He told me about the country, the lifestyle, the language. That was in 2006. I visited Kazakhstan in March of 2011 for the first time. I have been living in Moscow for more than 10 years, and after a year I got a job offer, so I came here and decided to stay. I like it here. I like the weather. Despite the fact that I'm a Brazilian, I like the weather here, love the cold. I like the people here. There are differences between Kazakh and Brazilian mentality, however, in a way we have similarities, you know. Kazakh people are very open, very hospitable. Brazilians, similar to Kazakh people, like eating meat. I feel comfortable here. I like it here better than home. So I thought, why not? I decided to stay in Astana. I met my wife here, got married. We had our two daughters here. I consider Kazakhstan to be my home. I haven't lived in Brazil for so many years. I feel comfortable here. I work in restaurant business. I used to have a Brazilian restaurant, now I'm planning to open another restaurant. I'm a chef. I like managing kitchen processes, but I don't spend my whole days in the kitchen. I also enjoy talking to our guests. I like managing the restaurant. I love visiting the local markets, selecting products. I love my job and I feel strong when I do these things. Nobody believes me when I say that I love cold weather. They say that since I'm a Brazilian, I'm not supposed to enjoy the cold. If only I could switch the summer off, that would be great. I wouldn't mind if it was cold all year round. The colder the better. The ideal temperature for me is minus 40 to 45 degrees. I don't like the summer season. I don't like the heat that much. I think that Roberto is very cosmopolitan. He feels comfortable where his family is, where he can work and realize his potential. I think he became a true citizen of the city. When we first met, when we started living together, he didn't understand Kazakh language at all. For instance, he couldn't read the signs in Kazakh. Nowadays, he often uses Kazakh words when he speaks to locals. He feels very comfortable here. He loves the winter season and he loves it here. And he never ever mentioned that he would want to move elsewhere. He wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I moved to Canada when I was very little. I don't remember that very well. I was probably 4 or 6 years old. I went to school, college, and then attended a university there. I was fully socially integrated. I lived in Canada for 20 years and then met a girl online. Her name was Bota, and she became my wife. We've been in touch through WhatsApp and Instagram for 2 or 3 months, and then I decided to visit Kazakhstan and see her in person. I thought I would stay for a month, but ended up staying here for 2 years. Everything in my life is like that. Spontaneous decisions last forever. I grew along with Astana. I used to be a guy who liked traveling. Being an ethnic Kazakh, I always thought about creating my own family. Thoughts quite uncommon in Canada. Canadians of my age do not think about having a family, having children and so on. The thought of it doesn't cross their minds even when they hit 30. On the contrary, I always thought about it and considered going back to my roots, finding a person with the same way of thinking as me. I had a girlfriend at that time, but neither she was thinking about these things. Canadians are very united. They like social gatherings. For instance, the ambassador of Canada likes both of our countries. We spend a lot of time together. We have Canadian get-togethers. We invite people to our homes. By the way, the same thing happened in Canada. I had friends from Kazakhstan and we would stick together. When we came to Kazakhstan, all those from Canada we still keep together. It's unusual, but I find it so cool. I like that I can belong to 2 communities at once. I heard the word barista in 2012 for the first time. I was looking for a job and was offered to be a barista. I didn't know what it was, I had only known the word bartender. Upon hearing the offer, I decided to give it a try. I received the training and started to assimilate to this culture. The coffee culture is growing in Astana. The profession of barista is relatively new. After a couple of years of being a barista, I think that I got good at it. I like the job. My work schedule does not allow me to stand behind the counter anymore and make coffee. Today I'm busy with trainings. The rest of the time I deal with the things like logistics, new menu development, creating new drinks, inventing new features. This summer we are planning to introduce bottled coffee in 3 of our coffee shops. Whether I wanted to be a government employee, when I was a 4th-year student, I was offered an internship in one of the state institutions. I think it was the Ministry of Finance. There was another option, though. I could choose to work in a restaurant as a waiter or an assistant bartender. And I realized that I wanted to work in restaurant and catering business. Today I'm in the coffee business, one of the sectors of the catering industry. Why do you think we are a tea-drinking nation? Because we didn't have coffee. For us, coffee was not an option before. The Chinese, for instance, drink a lot of tea as well. Tea is a popular drink in China, however, coffee is also heavily consumed. Here in Kazakhstan, coffee culture is blooming too. New companies, providers, types of coffee beans, baristas, coffee shops are starting to emerge. There was a significant development of the coffee market in Kazakhstan between 2010 and 2012. Many coffee houses were opened. People are drinking both tea and coffee. There's enough for everyone. There are some things that were invented, created in Kazakhstan, in Astana. And these things are becoming highly popular across the country and in other regions. I think it's great. Barista Championship was held in 2014 and I was a Barista Art School representative from Astana. I represented my school in this championship. There were around 22 or 23 participants. I went to the finals, I was in top 6 of Kazakhstan and eventually I won the championship. Everyone has a skill set that lie in certain areas. Some are better in taste-making, some in latte art. Others are more successful in promoting their coffee houses. Everyone has a thing of their own. The coffee culture is developing, and I feel it does. I have seen progress. New concept places are opening up. Since I work in catering business and as a barista, I see that new things are starting to appear. Things that were not introduced to Astana or to Kazakhstan before. New things, new professions are emerging. There is plenty of work. I can see that this is creating quite a movement. I was born in Almaty, and since my mom was from eastern Kazakhstan, she moved the family to Semey, where we grew up. In 2011, I moved to Astana, and I have been living here for more than 6 years now. The first time I visited Astana was in 2006, and then in 2010. I fell in love with the city, and I set myself a goal to move here. I moved to Astana with my office, and I think it's been great so far. I have been living here for 6 years now. I'm 30 years old. I visited 24 countries. Half of them I cycled on this particular bike, and I can say that cycling infrastructure in Europe is great. Living in Astana, I use my bike quite often to get to work. I love cycling around the city. I think that cycling infrastructure is worth developing in Astana, and it will be in demand among the residents. People will love it. Yes, I think it has to do with the personal qualities of each individual. I have known some people abroad, wealthy people with nice cars, but who would still ride bikes because they understood the importance of going green, being closer to nature. It's something that should come from within. Astana has a flat terrain, and it's a great advantage in developing bicycle paths. In Scandinavian countries, for instance, bicycle paths are used as ski tracks during winter season. That way, they are used all year round. I can definitely say that I see my future in Astana. I bought an apartment here, I work and live here, and I like the city very much. I'm a top manager in one of companies based here, and I can say that we are in need of strong candidates, and they are very difficult to find. I think that for the younger generation of Kazakhstan there are plenty of opportunities for creating a future of their own. Yes, Astana offers big opportunities. People want to have opportunities to show their worth. People strive to do better. We have a lot of possibilities in Astana, not only for expats like myself, but for everyone, especially for those who want to work, who can work. I would like to go abroad, to Europe for instance. But I don't mean moving there, just going there for 2 or 3 months to gain the local coffee house experience. I would like to work behind the counter, then bring the best practices and interesting features to the coffee houses in Kazakhstan. We had plans. Me and my wife thought about moving to another country to pursue our creative interests. Yes, of course, I want to travel, live in other countries and cities for a while, but I would always want to come back here. I want my children to grow up here in Kazakhstan, in the city of Astana. I love coming back to Astana. I enjoy looking at these streets, so wide and open. I travel a lot, and I can't but compare Astana with other cities, and I can say that wherever I am in the world, I always miss Astana, because I like it here, and when you like something, you don't want to change it. I feel comfortable and nice for me here. I have my family and my work here. A lot of people that we know think that we will leave the country eventually, but we are not planning on moving anywhere. It's comfortable to live, work and raise our children. Why didn't I move? Because Astana is great. The city is growing and developing. I like it here and I love it with my whole heart. Yes, I'm a patriot of my city. I love Astana. Wherever I go, I always say that I'm from Astana. When I understood that I live at the same rhythm, in sync with the city, I realized that I already am a true citizen of Astana.